Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Godot community. I'm Sarah Rising, your host for this episode, and I want to welcome all of our elementary art teachers to this Fine Arts PLC neighborhood. This is a place where we can share ideas, collaborate, and just learn some new things that we can use in the art room. I want to remind you to subscribe to the posts. Also, please contribute to the discussions so that we can build a sense of collaboration and get ideas from each other across the state of Georgia. This is the second part in a three-part series of our November webinar covering procedures and processes in the art room. What I'd like to share with you guys today are some ideas on processes and procedures, and specifically today we're going to look at classroom procedures. You may be thinking, it's November and why am I just now starting on classroom procedures? But seriously, it's never too late to present procedures to your students. And sometimes you have to revamp them. As I mentioned in a webinar last year, all of our classes are different. So you may find that in the way you handle things in one class might not work as well, and you may have to tweak it just a little bit. So we're going to look at why it's never too late to present procedures. We're going to talk a little bit about using tools and supplies and the procedures that can help make your day run smoother. Did you ever have a day where you had this awesome lesson and you present it and you get started and then all of a sudden the whole thing falls apart? Well, as we all know, there's lots of reasons why this happens, but I bet if we took some time to think about this, we can attribute many of the issues to something that I call procedure miscommunication, where our kids aren't sure of those procedures. You may have told them the procedures on the first day, but you don't see them every day. And by the time the rotation comes back around again, they've entirely forgotten what you told them that they're doing. Also, did you ever find yourself in a situation where the classroom routines are disrupted by schedule changes, holidays, or unexpected events like safety drills, or maybe your school is having an assembly? These are times when you might want to review or even reintroduce procedures as helpful reminders for your students. So what I'm going to do in this presentation, just to jumpstart your practice and help you keep things running smoothly, is talk a little bit about some things that you might not have thought about, or things that you know, but you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. So we'll start today with a link here on this page for some routines that will help your classroom run smoothly. I will share this presentation, this PowerPoint presentation, so that you can go back and actually see the links in the presentation. All right, here we go. Using tools. First tool, those kindergartners, when they come through our doors, we are often the first time they're seeing lots of things for the first time to use. And scissors, while they're in their classrooms, probably using scissors daily, you may still find a few who are struggling at this point of the game. They're still working on that hand-eye coordination. They're still developing their fine motor skills. And I came across this article for an OT expert who talked about how, when you think about it, you're having to do bilateral coordination where you're using both sides of the body. You're using one hand for turning the paper, one hand for cutting the paper. And sometimes it takes some of our kids a little bit longer. So while most of our kids at this stage of the game are pretty good at using scissors, I wanted to share some ideas about what we can do to make that experience and catch the rest of them up. Here I've listed, and again, I found an OT person who actually posted all of this online. Here's 4 things that you guys might try with those kids who are still struggling a little bit. If they are allowing you, try to do a little hand-over-hand assistance to get them going. Encourage them to have the thumbs up position from the beginning. A lot of them are still kind of going sideways and making little snip, snip, snips. You can have them practice with a plastic straw, snipping the straw. It gives them kind of instant gratification, seeing the little pieces of straw fly through the air. And then encourage optimal finger positioning. This is something I just read about a week ago, and I've been trying it with my struggling scissor users. And I really never thought about it, but the idea is to put your thumb in the top hole, the middle finger in the medium hole, and like if you were using a spray bottle, let this part of the finger be out and then cut, and then this finger kind of guides. Invisible scissors there. When you think about it, it's pretty logical. So try it out with some of your kids and see if that doesn't help some of your struggling scissor cutters. This is another one that I thought was really genius. She talks about, and I'm going to just show you this with my pretend scissors, but the number one, this is for people that are holding scissors in their right hand. She made the diagram. So ideally, the idea is taking the scissors, thumb is over here where the one is, and cutting and turning. When the paper gets up to here, you move your finger to the number 2 position, turn it, keep cutting, and then move your finger to the number 3 position and then finish off the cut. So little things that you can get to give those kids a visual cue on where to go with the scissors. And I'll tell you what, once they get it, I had like 2 kids, and for me that's major, 2 kids that were struggling and used this technique, and it really helped. All right, Cassie Stevens. We all love Cassie Stevens. This is a hilarious video about scissor safety. I'm just going to play a little snippet of it. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I thought if you saw a snippet, you might come back and watch this whole thing, but I'm not going to play the whole thing through the video. But I did talk to my kids and did want to preface it by saying, although she is being very silly with the scissors, this is a serious thing. And the scissors that she has aren't really cutting scissors. They're just more like a prop. So let me get this started and show you this. All right, here is just a short little snippet of the video. Like I said, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'll get you going on this.
Important that you know the rules of scissor safety. Are you ready to hear them?
Yeah.
Boys and girls, rule number 1. Scissors are only for paper.
Wow.
So only use your scissors on what?
Paper.
So can I use my scissors on my friends?
No.
Can I use my scissors on my hair?
No.
Can I use my scissors on my clothes?
No.
How about my leg? Scissors are only for that spells when you're
All right, so I think you get the idea there. When you have time, do come back and watch this if you're interested. It is quite entertaining. But again, it just basically summarizes the 3 important rules of scissor safety. All right, the next topic I'm going to cover for you guys are just a couple of supplies that tend to give us little bitty fits in the art room. And that supply, number 1, is glue. We all have different feelings about glue. Some of us love glue bottles. Some of us love glue sticks. Some of us love neither and just like to dump the glue either in a jar and apply the glue with a brush, or dump a sponge in a container and dump the glue on the sponge and have the kids pick up the glue that way. Whatever camp you're in, even if you are in no camp, or maybe you are trying to find a new camp, I've included a couple videos here that you can come back and watch just to get the gist of some of these ideas. Again, in order to watch the videos, you'll just have to click on the link for the PowerPoint presentation, and the links are all included in here as YouTube videos. So kind of done the legwork for you and thrown those videos in there. Finally, the art tool that gives us the most frustration, I think, is, we'll call it the pencil problem in the art room. And everybody's different. Everybody does things different in their classroom. Some of us are a little more tolerant than others. Some of us are a little less tolerant of pencil sharpeners going on and on and on in the classroom. But here's the deal. Remember that different procedures work for different classrooms. Not every pencil sharpening system works for everyone. So what I've tried to do here is to get you thinking about 4 things to plan out what works great for you. You may find here we are in November and wow, my pencil sharpening program isn't working. Nobody ever has a pencil that's sharpened. All the kids do is go to the pencil sharpener because I've got a really cool pencil sharpener. But think about these 4 things. When do you want your students to sharpen pencils if you want them to sharpen them at all? Will your students need to ask for permission? And how do you want them to ask for permissions to minimize interruptions? What will students do with broken pencils? And how are you going to handle the students that seem to intentionally break pencils in order to use the pencil sharpener? So those are the things that you need to come up with. Once you've come up with kind of your go-to, I've listed on here just 3 little things here. This pencil sharpener, if you've never seen it before, I love it except for 2 things. It only sharpens regular size pencils. And lots of times the lead will break off because the pencil lead gets so long. And it's just a matter of the kids using it and learning. This video is a great resource that if you have this pencil sharpener or you can get gifted some of these, it's a great video to teach your kids how to use these pencil sharpeners. This I found on Instagram. Somebody made this genius, it's almost like a wall frame covered in plexiglass, and it's almost a little dispenser of pencil sharpeners. I've seen pencil sharpeners where they put them in drinking straw containers, where you push the little button and they come out, and then the tall ones where they lift them out. But lots of ways that you can put your pencils out, and then labeling them just to make sure the students know where the sharpened and unsharpened pencils are. I tend to fall in this camp because with my classes, the sizes that they are, it's just so much sharpening. I think the kids kind of go in waves of sharpening pencils. The other thing is that I try to encourage, you don't always have to have a super pointed pencils. And then the other thing that I do get are those chubby pencils that are like my first writers for the little kids, because those leads stay sharpened much longer. Not the ebony, real soft pencils that make super dark lines, and then I also buy my first pencils with no erasers so that they don't get chewed off. And then the last thing that I saw in here that was pretty cool was this display where she's housed the pencil sharpener over the trash can so that all the little shavings fall into the trash. So hopefully some of these things will get you guys back on track into your procedures in the classrooms. I know it's getting a little wonky out there. We are approaching, end of November, middle of November. So before you go, if you would, share out some of your classroom procedures related to supplies and tools, things that you have found that make your life a lot easier, and then share that with us so that we too can enjoy in that easy life. It was great seeing you guys. I hope you found some useful items here, and I will see you again real soon. Bye.